and gone.
Driving.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into Twin Cities Sports Talk. You got Trevor Kramer, Bruce Kramer with you today, and we got a fun little episode here. Some listener GM questions. It is now a Hot Take Tuesday. We're back. We haven't had one in a few weeks, but we're back with slinging some hot takes around the room, and it's gonna be fun. We always like doing those. And we got, for me, I'm gonna spoil it a little bit, a treacherous prediction segment to go through. Not making predictions, going over them. Good news for Trevor, not for me. That's all I'm gonna say there. But
for me,
yeah, is Trevor in the room with us?
I'm here.
All right. This is a Hot Take Tuesday. So everyone knows Hot Take Tuesdays, as I'm trying to get my gosh darn thing up on my phone, is sponsored by KitchenWise Closet Wise. It is a family-owned operated business, proudly serving the Twin Cities and surrounding areas. They specialize in creating custom solutions designed around how you actually live, kitchens, closets, pantries, and garages, and more. They transform underused or cluttered spaces into something both beautiful and highly functional. What sets them apart is their focus on smart layouts, quality materials, and custom designs that make the most of every inch. If you see in these photos, it's rollouts for your kitchen. They do everything on the inside of the cabinet. They don't do your cabinets, but for less mobile people, for people with back injuries, this is easy. You just roll them out and they slide right in by themselves. Very, very good product, and it's awesome to use, and it looks great inside your cabinet. So people, there's their phone number, kitchenwise.com, to get in contact for a free consultation. It's a free consultation. I don't know why you wouldn't. Go see what they have to offer. KitchenWise, Closetwise, thanks for sponsoring. And when you go there, tell them we sent you at TCST. All right. Yeah, we got a little bit of a prediction segment to go through, a little bit of a run through. Wolves played last night against the Dallas Mavericks, one of the worst teams in the West. Wolves took care of business. Wolves won 124-94, a bit bigger margin than both Trevor and I really predicted. But we both did say the Wolves would win. But I said Bones would have 16-plus points. Trevor said Cooper Flagg would have 25-plus points. Both of those being quite wrong as my screen refreshed. So either way, pretty good night from us. We both went 1-0, 0 points, which is just great for me because Trevor just keeps getting them. But it is time to go through the March Madness predictions that Trevor and I made this March Madness. And let me tell you, people, this is a complete 180 from where the scoreboard was at already. Let's pop that up here. All right. Trevor, I'll go through his first because it's a lot. We made a round of 64 upset predictions. Each one we got right was 2 points. Trevor correctly identified South Florida, VCU, High Point, and Texas. That's 8 points for Trevor for people counting at home. I did say High Point and South Florida would win, so I did get 4 points, but that's a 4-point swing right there for Trevor. But then here's where it starts getting ugly. We said round of 64 percentage. Whoever predicted the most amount of games correctly in the round of 64 would get 3 points. That is Trevor. Another 3 points in the point category for Trev. And then at the end, we said, and yes, it's not over, but it's over for me. Bracket percentage winner. Whoever picked the best bracket in general, that's Trevor for another 4 points. So 15 points from Trev in a March Madness, an 11-point swing here because I brought home 4 points. And I was so close to a 10-pointer because we said if you picked a Cinderella run, which to quantify that, what a Cinderella run meant to us was an 11 seed or higher, making it to the Sweet 16. And my pick, Trevor's pick was VCU, right? And they got blown out in the round of 32. They got blown out.
Yeah, South Florida, VCU, High Point, Texas. I considered, but yeah, VCU was my selection there.
Should have picked Texas, I guess. Both of us should have.
Yeah.
But, I was so close. High Point They beat Wisconsin, crushed their hearts, and then they were so close to beating Arkansas in the round of 32, 5 seed, and then almost knocked off the 4 seed. I think they, if I'm remembering correctly, they lost by like 4. It was just back and forth the whole game, super competitive. I'm still mad about it because then we would have been pretty even here. That would have been 10 points for me, and Trevor would have had a 1 point up on this, but so close, but yet so far for me. Either way, I got to put my work in going forward here. Trevor's now 6 points ahead in the point category, 58 to 52. Percentage-wise for our records, I still have him by about 8%. But Trevor, if you keep winning here, easy does it.
Oh,
so
yeah,
there's our prediction segment. That was rough.
That was good.
All right. Oh,
hi.
All right. It is a hot take Tuesday. Trevor and I both have a hot take that we're going to spit out. Do you want to go first or should I?
I'll defer for the second half.
Okay, I'll go first then.
Oh, that's hot.
All right. This is a pretty broad hot take here, and I think it might be a little bit too realistic, but it's pretty broad. This MLB season will be the most boring MLB season of all time. And you can call me biased for saying this because I'm a Twins fan.
Biased. You're biased. You're biased.
And the Twins are not going to be anything short of mediocre. So less than that. Either way, but like to explain it a little bit more, there's just the teams that will be good, and they're just kind of gonna run the entire league. And it's been kind of leading up to this point in the MLB, and now I think if the Dodgers even make the World Series again, they don't even need to win. If they make it again, which I think the odds are like 75. Yeah.
I would just put it not guaranteed, just because what if Shohei gets a season-ending injury or a few of them pile up? Injuries are going to happen, but if their core can stay intact, for the most part,
but I think there's a lockout coming, almost certainly, at the start of the 2027 season, even if the Dodgers make the World Series, don't even win. But my thing is, there's just the teams that's been leading up to it. The Yankees, the AL East is really good. There's 4 really good teams, but the Phillies are just really good. They will most likely win the East. And the MLB has not changed really at all. The AL Central is still far below average, like it has been since 2019 for the past decade.
And even if Detroit has a really good year, which I kind of think they will, just because I think they'll take advantage of the other 4 teams in the Central.
Yeah, true.
Chicago, Cleveland, Kansas City. Kansas City should put up a decent fight out compared to the other 3, but you're right. Central's mediocre. The AL West is going to be good. I know East will be good.
But it's been like that Dodgers, for so long. Like the AL East, really good. The Red Sox, the Orioles are back. They have a good lineup. The Blue Jays just made the World Series. It's just the Yankees. They still run that division. It's their division to lose for the most part.
Well, I think obviously very early on, but I think Yankees are the team. If you had to bet who's going to make the World Series on the AL side, at least for me, I'd pick the Yankees.
It's been the same, and it gets more boring and boring every single year. One division specifically is the Phillies division, the NL East. The Marlins are a better team than they have been, but they're still not like playoff caliber, World Series caliber, not even close, obviously. But that division has not changed, I feel like, in 20 years. It's been the Phillies, and then the Mets are always reaching around the wild card for a second place, and it's going to be like that again this year. And then the Braves are just good. The Braves, except when they had Freddie Freeman and the entire team there in like 2021, they're just good. They'll win games, fight for a playoff spot. That division has not changed. Our division hasn't changed. The AL East division hasn't changed. Not even the one division that I think has changed quite a bit is the AL West, just because The Athletics,
The Astros,
the A's,
for a while.
the Astros have fallen off a little bit. They don't have the same team, but the Mariners run that division now. And like Trevor said yesterday, I don't know if we did that on air or not, but the Mariners lost pieces. Eugenio Suarez, Polanco, like they're not going to be as great either way. But the A's have a really good lineup. They just need the pitching, so we'll see how that goes. That's the only division that's really different. And then, the NL West, has that changed one tiny little bit from the entire time of us growing up? No. The Dodgers are going to run that. And then the Padres fighting for that, like, top wild card spot. And then the Giants always fighting for a playoff spot, except if you go back to 2012 with Madison Bumgarner and the World Series runs and everything with them. But, like, the Rockies, horrible. The Diamondbacks, going to be fourth place in the division, almost certainly.
Yeah, because Colorado will be fifth, yeah.
And the NL Central sucks. That division is nothing special too. It doesn't have a standout team, and it hasn't since the Cubs with Chris Bryant and in like 2016 with Javi Baez and everything.
Yeah.
That's the only time there's been a standout team in that division.
Yeah, the NL Central is really bad. I mean, you got to think about it. Think of Paul Skeens, one of the best pitchers in baseball, with a 67.5 ERA. Yep. He's averaging giving up 67.5. He's giving up a half run. They're screwed. The Pirates are screwed.
No, but in all seriousness, that division is not good either. The Reds should be a playoff team, but then the Brewers are always just decent, but they can't get over the hump in the playoffs. The Cardinals are going to be bad. Pittsburgh, I actually have winning the division, which I still think can happen, but that just goes to show you how weak that division is. I have the Pirates winning it.
As discussed recently, the AL East will be the only
juggernaut. Yeah.
Yeah, will be like division that could really go. Well, Yankees will probably win it, but no one would be shocked if Boston or even Baltimore. Rays would be a surprise, and then what's the other team?
The Blue Jays. The Blue Jays could win.
Yeah, Blue Jays could too. Yeah, so literally any of the five could.
I think the only one that I can't see is the Rays, but the Rays are still probably going to be an above 500 team.
And they know how to develop, and it's crazy. Yeah. They'll always have the depth.
Yeah. Yes. Either way, that is my hot take: is that this MLB season will be the most boring for especially Twins fans. Actually, while we're on this topic, I need to bring up this stat that I saw yesterday. The MLB Hope-O-Meter results. This is very whitewashed, and I don't know how many people from each fan base voted on this. We don't know that. Maybe 100, maybe 1,000. But MLB Hope-O-Meter, it's basically how optimistic each fan base is to their team going into this season. And it gives you a percentage of how many fans are optimistic. So, like, Dodgers are number one. Obviously, Dodgers fans, if they didn't, I'm surprised this number isn't 100% with the Dodgers. There's like probably 2 Dodgers fans who are like, because it's 99.8. So there's like 3 guys that are like, I don't know about this team. We need to get more people. You can go screw yourself. Come on. Like, it is the Dodgers. But Dodgers, Blue Jays, Mariners, Tigers, Royals are 5th. Wow, the Royals fans are all in. Either way.
The 2% are probably people concerned with giving Shohei Ohtani $68 million over the next 10 years.
It's 0.2%.
Yeah. The 0.2. They're really worried about those finances when you're paying Ohtani at age 40, 48 or whatever, like the final year of that, the second half of the 10-year deal.
Either way, the one that I'm actually surprised about, the Yankees are 22nd in the league. The Yankees fans are not about the team. They're still at a 67.6%. Which means like most of it, but
that's probably just old people.
Maybe
they grew up with the Yankees, being dynasty, being in a championship run, or not run, championship expectations for gosh knows how long. But if you go really the last 10 years, maybe a 10 long, well, really 15. They've
been to 1 World Series in that time. Yeah. All right. Just continuing here. People. Yeah. And then to round out the list, at last place, 30th in the league, people, the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins.
We're gonna lose. We're gonna strike.
All right. Twins have this is just embarrassing to say. 4.3% of Twins fans are any bit optimistic about this season. It's rightfully so, but that's just how do you even watch games this year? How do you put fans in the ballpark when
you turn your TV on, you click on MLB TV because they'll never be on national television.
True.
And then you open your eyes. Twins baseball.
Yeah. 4.3%. The worst in the league, and I want to really set this in stone how bad this is. The Angels are in 29th place with a 5.7%. So the Angels and Twins fans kind of go hand in hand here, just horribleness from each. But then you jump to 28th. It's the Nationals with a 24% optimistic standard percentage. That's a 20% swing right there from 29th and 30th to 28th. And then to even put it into more perspective, in 27th place is the Rockies with a 25% chance. You're telling me Twins fans are 21% less optimistic than Rockies fans going into this year? The Rockies? Oh my gosh. I just can't. The White Sox fans are 67% optimistic, which they have some young talent, but we do too. People don't.
But at least for the Rockies, they did get a really good player this year. Really, two, but one got hurt. So they acquired Edward Julien, the GOAT. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also got Pierre. Not Pierre. I'm thinking on the Vikings corner now. Pearson Ole. Right? Yeah. Is it even Pearson?
Yes, it is Pearson Ole. Yep.
That doesn't even sound right. Yeah, but Ole got Tommy John surgery, so his Cy Young year will come in 27. Watch out, the Rockies are here to take out the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm. Either way, that's the list. MLB Hope-O-Meter results. Hope-O-Meter. And there's my hot take of the week. All right, Trev, shoot.
All right, I'm going to kind of double dip with a hot take I had during the NFL season.
Okay.
Pulling it up here because I kind of got the bullet points. So for Jacoby Brissett, obviously Arizona releasing Kyler Murray. Obviously, all of us here in Minnesota are well aware of that, with us nabbing Kyler for the league minimum. Pretty sweet. But yeah, no, keeping on to kind of go along. If anyone heard my Brissett thing, my thing is, and I think I didn't have it. I forget exactly how I worded it, but basically Brissett will be Cardinals' long-term starter, not as in 10 years, but more in the next 3, 4, 5 years. And then they'll play it out because he's not young at all, but he's also only, I should have looked this up. I don't know. He's probably 32, 33, which really isn't too old because he's been healthy and it's the quarterback position. And then obviously he had some game lags. So yeah, kind of in the middle age for a quarterback that's been healthy. So some game lags when Kyler got hurt, and for the games Brissett started against the Colts, who obviously were really good. I forget if this was
really good defense. Really good defense.
October 12th. I forget if it was pre or post Daniel Jones, but regardless, threw 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick against Green Bay, 279. 2 touchdowns, no picks. Dallas, bad defense, but solid game. 261, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Seattle wasn't super great, only 50% completion percentage, but 258. 2 touchdowns, no picks. The crazy game against San Fran, November 16th. 83% completion percentage, 452 yards. Now, he did have 2 picks, but he also threw 57 times. Also had 2 touchdowns. I could keep going. You guys can look at the game lines. Really, the only low number he had towards the end of the year against the Falcons, he only threw 52% for 203 touchdown and a pick. But regardless, very numerous, several solid games. Think of their top 2 receiving cores, Marvin Harrison Jr. You got Trey McBride. running back, they have not been able to figure out. Trey Benson been super injured. Just
Connor
not having
was
a good
injured
running
all
back.
year.
Yeah, Connor was injured.
Yeah.
Point being, if they add a running back or if the running backs can be healthy and kind of just raise that production, not that they need anything crazy, because like I said, Brissett, pocket passer. When I was naming the game logs, very productive games, very consistent. He stays healthy. Knock on wood. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing him this upcoming year. But obviously, Arizona being in the market, kind of going back to my hot take. You release Kyler, you take on that massive dead cap. Obviously, they're going to be adding a quarterback. So assuming now first round, is a huge question mark. Obviously, Mendoza is almost certainly the Raiders. So that's clear. But obviously, it doesn't really seem like Arizona's going quarterback first round. That'd be a shocker if they do. Yeah. But maybe unless they want to trade up, right? Or I guess I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Do they just have their one current pick, right? In the first, they don't own another team's first.
No, it's just the
I
one.
don't know.
Yep,
yeah, I didn't think so. One. So maybe there's a chance they trade up for Ty Simpson. I don't know. Regardless,
I saw a report that they're actually interested in doing that, and they've checked in on teams about. And one was the Steelers. The Steelers are obviously favored to get Simpson, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you're drafting as high as they are in every round, it totally makes sense to check in. Yeah. So my to get to the hot take, kind of the summary of it. So whoever they take at quarterback, so whether it's Simpson or someone else, like second or third round, which is I think when it'll happen. I guess unless they trade up for a first round, the guy they draft will be kind of similar to what's happening with McCarthy. Except McCarthy's played a little bit, and then there's the injury history. But there's obviously a lot of rumors that McCarthy's going to be done in Minnesota. That they're just going to lean towards Kyler, and then if Kyler gets hurt,
there's a real possibility.
Speculation that Wentz will be the backup and McCarthy is the third. So if hypothetically some team gives the Vikings a good offer for McCarthy, there's a chance to get traded. Decent chance, maybe not good. So my point being, Arizona's going to take a quarterback, but that quarterback's not going to be the long-term plan for Arizona. They're going to realize
Jacoby.
Brissett signed a 2-year deal to be the backup to Kyler in 25. So obviously he's in his final year of that 2-year deal. So he's in a contract year. So more motivation to play well. And it's really almost certainly going to be his last chance to get a solid payday because he'll be 34 then.
Well, and
great year. He should have another good year this year.
Yeah, he's going into the season as the starter too. That always helps a quarterback. Yeah. There's no competition there. It's his job. So,
and unless off the top of your head, so McBride and Marvin Harrison, do they add any free agent receivers that or any notable names? Not that I can think of.
Well, they still have Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends in the league. He's Jacoby's favorite target for sure. But Marvin Harrison too.
But to further go with it, if they add a receiver to an Chigan guy or whatever the case may be, I think Brissett's gonna have a really sneaky good year.
What pick are they pick? Are they pick 3?
2 or 3, I think, because they're the worst record in the NFC. You're looking it up.
Yeah. Well, what I'm interested in, if give me last year's pick. Oh my gosh, I can't find it. I look up what. Oh my word.
I got you. I'm looking up their roster.
Number 3. They're picking 3rd. What I'm saying is,
I forgot.
If they really wanted to boost up their offense right away, I mean, we've talked about him a lot, but is there a chance Arizona nabs Jeremiah Love at 3 to get that, because they don't have a running back? Benson. Well, no, we have not had a mock where Arizona. It's been the Titans at 4 that take him. He's never gone 3 to the Cardinals, but if they really want to just boost up, and they don't have a running back, Trey Benson is not a starting running back in the league. James Conner is aging now. He's been in the league for a while. He's like an Aaron Jones type where he can't stay on the field either. Jeremiah Love would be a fantastic option for him, but you are missing out on maybe a Ruben Bain, Arvell, Reese, or
they did
a ton of
sign
different
Algier.
talent. But
I'm looking at their roster, so they did
they
get
sign?
Algier,
Oh,
Tyler
okay.
Algier, so that might kind of lead them towards. Oh wait, not that Algier is like a superstar or anything, but he's obviously
it's
been very
depth.
productive. And then another receiver that I was blanking on. I don't know if you thought of him, Michael Wilson. Who, was a very, very solid pickup for anyone in fantasy that claimed him before. Everyone went for him. So yeah, I mean they've got 3 solid guys between Harrison and McBride as your 1-2, like 2 very productive guys, really good receiving guys. Obviously McBride tied on, but you get it as a receivers. And then yeah, Michael Wilson that I kind of was blanking on. They did sign Kendrick Bourne too. It looks like so he's on the team.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
So yeah, I mean, just more and more reason where it looks like Brissett will, just carry on how you played post Kyler Murray. Yeah. So I think my boy Brissett is going to ball out. He's coming for Sam Darnold in Seattle. The Arizona Cardinals will not win the division, but they'll make it interesting.
They'll make it interesting with their 7 wins.
Oh, that's hot.
All right, perfect.
They're trying.
Yeah, they can
try. Who did they sign as head coach? Because that was the final 2 hires. It was like a playoff team's coach. Because Seattle's coach. Oh my God, I can't think of anyone's name right now. Seattle's coach Kubiak.
There was such a big carousel.
Yeah, but
Mike LaFleur. It's LaFleur's brother, Mike LaFleur.
Yeah, that's right. Because he came from San Fran, right?
But regardless, the Rams, I think.
So then adding LaFleur too. There's a bit of a question mark because it's the.
Well, he's an offensive-minded coach, so that's really good for him. He was the OC for the Rams for the past 3 years, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. All right. There's Hot Take Tuesday. Always fun. We'll have it next week again, people, for anyone wondering. And if anyone's wondering when is the next Wild game, still 2 days away. They had a massive break, so now there's not really you're not really 2 games behind the Avs in terms of games played. Now it's all going to be even. Like the Avs, going into last weekend, were 3 games that they still had to play before the Wild. But yeah, it all evens out now. All games played evens out. The Wild haven't played. They get a 5-day break, and it sucks because they get a 5-day break. But then I would have wished that they could have had one of their tougher games in the slot. But it's literally the worst team in the NHL in Vancouver. A warm welcome. Question here: does Marco Rossi and Zeev Buium get a tribute video?
Probably just because it's Minnesota nice. Marco, it is. But
Marco, I think, but
it's nothing against Zeev, but he played what? 10
a total of 20 games, I think. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But Marco, he scored in the playoffs.
What they really should just do and not care about anyone's feelings is do a thing for Marco, and then if you really want to do a thing for Marco to right before the game starts or shortly after, maybe the 13-minute mark commercial break when they come back to live television after the first commercial break cycle. You can do the tribute for Rossi. It'd probably be pregame, but regardless. And then if you really want start of the second period, welcome back. I don't even know if he's playing. Zeev would be, but then if Ogren's playing,
Liam Ogren,
you could be welcome back, Zeev and Ogren, or
that's true.
Ogren, come by for some. If that was me, I wouldn't care. These guys are professionals. I was gonna say they're making a ton of money, but then again, hockey players make nothing compared to an Austin Matthews.
Any other sport.
I think Nikhil Alexander Walker's making, and obviously he's having a heck of a year with Atlanta. But point being, a bench player with the Wolves,
a role
good
player.
bench player, but. Point being, a bunch of players getting paid what Kirill and McDavid and Matthews and so on and so on. So, but no, they should just do tribute for Marco and be like, "Yep, Ogren and Zeev, you're cool and all, but you didn't do anything for the Wild other than just be a guy on a third and a fourth line." Well, for Ogren and then Zeev, obviously a third pair defense. Besides just few games on the second D pair core, but
yeah.
Have we even kept up? How have they been doing in Vancouver? those three. I'm gonna look at
don't
it.
know. We'll go through that on Thursday, talking about the Wild game. Right now though, we're gonna get to our listener GM questions because there's 3 I want to touch on here. And yeah, we always like doing these. If you don't know what these are, listener GM questions, it's what you guys are asking. You can DM the Instagram, TikTok, or just comment on any of the videos, a question about the show, about us, not too in depth, I hope, but us, the show, Minnesota sports in general. We'll answer it all because it's fun for us. First one is from John Happy. John Happy, he is wondering, how many Twins games do you guys go to each year?
Too many.
Because I might see you at one. Another thing, people, if you do see us, come say hi. I mean,
which will almost certainly happen since there will be 12 of us in there, and it'll be you guys and then the 2 of us.
12 of us in Target Field. Maybe 20. Maybe 20.
Shouting across from
third baseline all the way to the first.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Either way, honestly,
how was your weekend?
Here's the deal. We go to every opening day each year. It's kind of a tradition. Other than that, Trevor and I, for many years now, have gone to a lot of the April and May games. Mostly because before school is out. Yeah. Well, and the prices are unbelievably cheap.
Pre-summertime.
And there's really no one there. So, I mean, I don't promote this at all, but you guys, there's a ton of seats. Yeah. There's a ton of seats available on the first level. So, I mean, in past years, we may have moved down a little bit, but
honestly,
don't get us in trouble with security.
The ushers or whatever you're going to call them. If anything, I'm not even like ripping on the WNBA, but like before I agree, like I think I swear maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I think for Lynx like regular season games before, obviously WNBA has grown much more in the last couple years, but like during the Lynx Dynasty run, where they had the second level at Target Center close off, which is just smart. I mean, if the stadium's not going to be filled, fill your fans in the lower level. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, because like a lot of the games in April at Twins at Target Field, it's like it's honestly like 60-40 for percentage wise. Like people are always on the top decks. I'm like, come down, watch the game in a better seat.
It's just enjoyable for everyone. I feel like for the players, I mean,
it puts them more into the
game.
For
a player, if you look up, the entire second and third levels are just completely empty. But I don't know, for a fan's sake, it's much more.
Well, I think the players would appreciate that more. Everyone it's louder. You can like,
it's just and then it's enjoyable for the fan perspective too. You're just closer to the action and all that. And then if anyone's worried about a foul ball or whatever, a ball in play a lot,
the chances of that happening are just so small.
Well, the chances are low, but if you're paying attention too, it's especially with the netting and stuff. It's
plus in May and stuff, you got to get so cold up there. It's all windy up at the top deck. Like,
true.
To answer your question though, John, it's like I think I probably go to 12, 15 games a year. Last year was less because I didn't go to many after the trade deadline.
As did everyone.
I think
I think last year is easily the least for us and probably 95% of Twins fans because of what they did. But I think like during like the good Correa era and like
23,
23, the Bomba squad year. What did we do? Maybe 25 or so. Like there's some fun games.
That's before they had these like Twins deals with like the season tickets where the 20 game packages and stuff. I would have totally done that back then, but it's 20
if you buy whether it's the cheapest like random section of 300 and whatever section, you just buy the cheapest, or sometimes you can just buy a standing room only. And then I don't know. The thought is like, are you supposed to sneak down? No. Is there an app that shows what seats are unpurchased? Yes.
Yeah.
It's up for you guys to figure out. And it's just enjoyable. I mean, the ushers can be, I feel like it's 50-50. You just got to find one that doesn't care. And then if you are going to sneak down, just probably double check on some app that's available for all phones of what are unpurchased tickets on the lower level to enjoy a game down low rather than sitting in the third level all the way in the outfield or whatever. But yeah, I think average games, 15. Sounds about
15
right.
is probably a good estimate.
Last year, much less, but
Yep.
when you trade away your entire MLB team, why would you go?
And again,
especially
people, if you do see us,
if you gotta pay for parking.
Yeah, true.
If you see us, just start yelling our names.
Either way, like, come up, say hi. I've met a few people at I met one at a Chipotle. Forget your name, I'm sorry. If you are watching, I'm sorry. At a Chipotle, I've 2 people who met me at a gas station. Pretty cool. So keep coming up if you recognize us. So it's perfect. Next one, Jeremiah. This is about the Vikings now. Vikings, biggest holes by positions. Biggest position holes here. Going into the draft.
Depth receiver.
Yeah, well, let's just go each one here. Quarterback, no. Quarterback room is filled. It's set. Running back room, I wish Aaron Jones wasn't here, but it's pretty much filled now. You have your 3, Jones, Mason, and then Scott. Wide receiver, Trevor just mentioned it. Vikings obviously don't trust Ty Felton a whole ton, so I'm assuming they're going to draft a receiver, and they've met with.
Especially too, because it was nothing bad, but probably technically slightly overpaid to acquire Thielen when
Thielen had to play as easily an overpay.
I think the Vikings have, from their actions they've done, you can kind of sense the concern and the worry that if Jefferson and Addison, which in football, probably one of them at least get hurt. Hopefully not both at the same time, or else then we're really in a struggle. Their receiver depth, even the third tight end, I'm a tad concerned because same thing if Oliver Hawkinson gets hurt. It's just kind of a no-name guy.
Ben Urasek,
that's true. I kind of blanked on him, but even that needs it unproven. Looks like Randall will be the center, so the starting 5 is figured out.
And actually, I just talked about that on the show 2 days ago. Starting center, KO did say he's interested in a bunch of guys in the draft. Iowa's Logan Jones is one of the top ones. Could probably get him in the 5th, so if they want to address that, but Brandel most likely going to be his center at the start of next year, so that's good.
But nothing you gotta for O-line, nothing we gotta address early. Or you wouldn't think that'd probably be
not at all.
4th
to 5th round.
Realistically, 4th and later.
Trevor said it. Interior, interior D line is the big one. But it
could be sneaky good. As we kind of transition to playing the younger guys, given that the Caps kind of forced us to do this because when Classy not ever been able to draft anything productive other than maybe one good pick each draft, eventually you just got to rely on who you do have on that roster and hope the young guys are good enough to at least do a good enough job, or they're at least just where you're content with them there.
I am confident.
Exceed expectations. Yeah, there's a lot of intriguing guys. Yeah, Redmond, Ingram, Dawkins, Levi Drake Rodriguez. Who's the other guy I'm forgetting?
Taki Taimani.
Isn't there another one too, though? I'm forgetting Williams.
Elijah Williams.
Yeah. But for sure, those 3, Ingram, Dawkins, Levi Drake Rodriguez, and Redmond. Man, picking up Redmond, not to get super distracted, but 30-second pivot. With the UFL starting, I did my yearly Google of which Vikings are in the UFL. I saw there's Lewis Cine, which is just funny because how completely big of a bust he ended up being. But then there's Jaren Hall, quarterback. He's playing, and then I think there's 1 or 2 other guys.
Cam Dantzler.
Yeah, Dantzler. Yeah,
he's on the Stallions. I just watched that game.
The point being, no one really watches the UFL. You might watch it just because football season always goes so quick for the NFL and or college and NFL. But yeah, Redmond. For the few players that have a really good year, us picking up Redmond for the minimum or darn close to it initially, and now he's a kind of a long-term fit. It's super cool for Jalen Redmond and making that come back to the NFL. So interior D-line, some intriguing options with some good potential. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how they address it in the draft because they'll almost certainly add one, maybe even two.
My thing with the interior D-line is I am confident just because, like, you could say they're super raw, but Drake Rodriguez and Redmond, those two specifically, had a full season. They played more snaps than Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen played. They got what they needed this year, and now they're going to be going in full head of steam.
And Javon Hargrave figured it out. When you're on the bench, it's kind of hard to sack the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I can't wait. Can't wait. Do we even? What team did he sign with again, Javon?
It wasn't the Bengals. It was Allen. Oh, it was the Packers. Yeah. It was the Packers.
Yeah. I was gonna say I thought he was gonna be playing this.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for Blake Brandel to just pancake him 8 times a game.
Yep,
that would be cool. But obviously,
Tyron Ingram Dawkins, if people remember at the combine, one of the best athletes in the combine. He's a beast, just a beast of an athlete. So I'm excited to watch him too as the 3. So linebacker, it gets it's all right. You sign Eric Wilson to the 3-year deal. Blake Cashman, one more year left. Always injured though. You don't really have a reliable guy after that. We drafted Kobe King last year, but Kobe King is no longer a Viking after one season.
Good job, Bussy. And then Ivan Pace. Unfortunately, I cannot wait till he's not a Viking. I should really just have a calendar right here of just counting down the days till Ivan Pace is gone. Unfortunately, that calendar just got a lot longer because he just got re-signed. I don't know. Whenever people have the closed fist and you punch someone who's wearing a helmet, I pretty much just give up on you because, like, I don't know. I get it's heat of the moment and all, but not even that. I mean, just talking pure just football skill. Yeah,
well, he's the worst in coverage.
The second he's gonna cover a guy, almost like his eyes are closed and he's running in the opposite direction. But linebacker is kind of a concern.
But then we get to the serious stuff. The serious stuff is the secondary.
Yeah.
Safety, we've talked a ton on the show about it. You need to get a safety if Harrison Smith doesn't return. Even if he does return, you need to still get a guy in the draft at some point for the future because Josh Metellus cannot play a traditional safety role. He stunk last year doing it. He needs to be up at the line, dropping back, in the middle, up top, on the outside. He needs to be everywhere, Swiss Army knife. So safety's definitely what you need. But I want to see Jay Ward a lot more because Jay Ward is a really good blitzer. It's the same thing, though, with Ivan Pace. Jay Ward's just not as good in coverage, but he's a fantastic tackler and blitzer. So the safeties, there's bright spots. Theo Jackson wasn't really what Trevor and I thought he would do last year. It was his first year fully starting, but we thought we'd see a little bit more from him. Cornerback is where the Vikings will address something in the draft. I just saw that they're meeting with D'Angelo Pons, the cornerback out of Indiana, who maybe the main reason why they won the national championship, a pick 6 in the semifinals. Either way, Pons, there's a ton of other corners in the first round, in day 2 picks that they can go get. Ton of guys. Corner depth is very immense in the draft. Corners, and the reason Trevor brought up 2 weeks ago is the biggest reason is you need a lockdown corner on the outside to get Byron Murphy back on the slot. Because Byron Murphy had 5 interceptions in 2024 with Sam Darnold's team because he was lined up in the slot the entire time. You had Stephon Gilmore and who was the other corner opposite? I'm forgetting, but you had 2 outside corners. Byron Murphy could line up in the slot.
Are you talking about like this past year?
No, 2024.
Yeah, Gilmore, and then you had who's back this year? Wow, I can't think of his name either. He played for the Raiders. I know.
You look that up.
I got this.
Either way, if that's the biggest thing, if you can get especially like a lockdown corner in the first to get to be on the outside. And really, I need someone great in man coverage because that's obviously what you're going to be playing a lot in Brian Flores' defense here. And my opinion with this, Jermod McCoy is one of the best man coverage corners in the draft. A great corner build, 6 foot, 190, really good wingspan. If he is like, who is it?
I think we're thinking of two different guys. So Byron Murphy obviously still on the team, but then you had Shaq Griffin. Is that who you're thinking of?
Oh shit, yeah, that was the he was the
but
two.
Who I was also thinking of is backup center Caleb Evans, who we traded. But the guy I was thinking of was Fabian Moreau.
Yeah, no, it was in 24. It was Gilmore and Shaq Griffin on the outside, and then Murphy lined up in the slot. Which that he's not great in man coverage. Murphy is, but if you can line up in the slot, he's just a lot better there in his whole career. He has been. So you get Isaiah Rodgers and a rookie corner on the outside, cover those down the field threats. Byron Murphy back inside. This defense takes a huge step up right away there, because people were super disappointed, as I was, with Byron Murphy this past year, but there's reasons why. So that's the secondary. Kicker, we need a new kicker. I'm kidding. Best kicker in the league, Will Reichert.
He hits the camera lines. We cannot afford that.
Yeah,
he
was perfect.
You're supposed to be aiming for the center of the field goal post, not the camera wires.
Well, here's the thing. I know what's going to happen. He's going to be perfect, and then a Gary Anderson all over again in the playoffs. He's going to miss one.
Yeah, but
that's I already know.
Have nice things, so yeah,
I know it's going to happen. All right, last question. Last question. David Barlow. Do the Wolves even have a chance in the playoffs? With no real point guard play, it's very tough to say, but I wanted to hear your guys' opinion.
Yes. Championship? No, I don't think we.
Well, that's kind of what he's asking. Like championship chances. Yeah.
I mean, I could see them winning the first round, depending on matchups. Point guard.
Well, it's either going to be the Lakers or Denver.
Now that Bones and Io are playing a lot more, it's not like your ideal true point guard, but I don't know. My concern there is a lot less because it's a lot less of Dante trying to run it. And then it will
be the Lakers or Denver. That's what it's going to be. Unless Denver or the Lakers lose a couple straight and the Wolves win out, basically, it's going to be one of those two.
I'm very confident we can beat Denver, but then Denver could very well beat us. So that could go either way.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm confident beating them for another year straight. Denver's going to be playing with a huge chip on their shoulder to beat us after we've kicked them out twice now.
I guess it also depends on McDaniel's knee. He should be back by then, but
yeah, we don't know week to week. So
yeah. All right, let's see here. So as of right now, today
you're 2 games behind Denver for the 4.
But isn't that really 3 games because don't they have the tiebreaker on us? And then Lakers have the tiebreaker on us too. So yeah, I think realistically we're going to be a 5 at best.
It's 5 or 6. The Rockets are 1 game behind you, or a half game behind you.
We play Houston very soon again for that 3rd matchup for tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna check.
Yeah, if we're playing the Lakers,
concerns. Actually, that's the second to last game of the season.
If we play Denver, I like my chances. I don't know. It's with you having Edwards. It all depends on how much Edwards can carry, and if other guys are playing well, it's not even like Edwards. Edwards does his normal thing. You can still win any playoff game if you get the normal production. Naz Reid honestly might be the massive X factor because Naz Reid is so unconfident right now. I think in last night's game, and obviously they're feeding him, and it wasn't like he was forcing anything, but there's the urgency, give him his touches, give him some good looks. And he ended up piecing together a good game. But for anyone that, I think if you look at the box score, it doesn't look terrible. Not a typical Naz Reid game, but you're just telling the shot, the 3-point shooting, all that, the 3-point shooting in general.
You got to watch it to see what we're talking about.
Yeah. But if you can get normal Naz Reid come playoff time, so whether you can snap out of the slump, I also have some concerns. More and more, I've been watching the Wolves. I feel like this is the most I've seen out of concern. Sometimes too emotionally, Naz Reid can just get too carried away with arguing with the refs, or he's complaining about a foul call he didn't get. Just the emotional side, I think it's getting to a concern, a minor concern. It's just kind of worth monitoring, at least for me. Maybe I'm being a tad too hard, but no, I mean, watching Io. Oh my gosh, has he been a perfect fit?
Triple double. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, that was a
15 boards for him.
And then just even like the ball movement, it was just pure balanced attack. It was awesome. He didn't need to bring Anton for the fourth, which was big from his first game back in a couple weeks. But no, I think for the playoff success, Naz Reid, the more I'm thinking about it, might be the X factor because McDaniel should be healthy.
Yeah.
Knock on wood there. You got Edwards. I really like Io and Bones Highland's production off the bench. And then if you get the production as well from Naz Reid or close to it, that three-headed monster off the bench, you'd probably run an 8-man rotation. I don't know if you're playing 9 in the playoffs. If you do go to a 9th, maybe Shannon or Conley, depending on like matchups and what you're trying
to do. The only time I see that is against
8-man.
OKC. OKC, where you need to push the pace and match their intensity. That's where I see TJ coming in. But
I don't know. For the Wolves, I don't see it as likely as the previous 2 years. But it's also not that far off because it's pretty much identical team besides Io's the new Nikhil. Then the rest is the same.
Yeah, but this the West hasn't been this good. Luka's had a whole year with the Lakers. He looks fantastic. The Nuggets.
I mean, the West is always this good.
Not this good.
Slightly better.
No, this is better than other years. The two teams, the Spurs and OKC, will beat anyone in their path. The Lakers, this is the best.
Lakers can maybe beat one of those two, but probably not.
The Lakers, this is the best they've looked. Luka is fantastic this year. Denver, they can beat us. We can beat them. But then Houston, a lot of young talent there. Plus, they just got KD. The only two teams that are not as good or in that upper echelon is Phoenix, which we have an enigma against beating Phoenix in the regular season.
Yeah, that is true.
And also the Clippers, we can't seem to beat them, and they have the 8 seed.
Yeah, but I think
obviously a play-in, but
obviously
we'd beat both. Series. I think, yeah.
My really only concerns, obviously OKC, Spurs, without a doubt, Lakers. I realistically, I'm sure I'm maybe a little biased. I mean, it all comes down to if you can at least contain Jokic, because the Wolves have done pretty darn well for the most part against Murray. So I'm not even worried about Murray. I'm not like saying that, but you shouldn't. Like Murray can wreck you.
Denver doesn't have a bench,
if you don't defend right.
Yeah.
But, the other bench has been better than like when we played them the last two times in the playoffs. But it all honestly comes down to foul trouble against Jokic for like our guys between Gobert and Reed, and maybe even Baron J gets some minutes. Probably not, but if foul trouble is a thing, you never know.
Yeah.
If it is Denver you're facing.
Yeah. Either way, I think there's close to a 2% chance the Wolves make the championship with this West. I don't see it at all. I don't think they're making it past the second round. I can't see.
I'm also going to be super for the East side, just watching Nikhil with Atlanta, but even Atlanta in general. They have been blistering high. I'm sure they're like just in their last 10, they're 8-2, but
it's the hottest team in the East.
They're like for the last. Let me just do a quick skim. Like Atlanta could almost maybe beat anyone in the East. Maybe not
just
anyone.
Beat Boston last night.
But for this month of March, they don't play today. So because their last game in March was yesterday, 30th against Boston. They went perfect except losing 2 games in March. So however many wins that is. And then
the 2 were against good teams too, weren't they?
Yeah, Houston and Boston.
So so some of the best teams. Yeah.
And then February, I think they went like 9-4. It looks like, but yeah, they've been blistering hot since beginning of March. So Hawks
it'll be fun.
Yep. But more so Nikhil for Minnesota fans' sake.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that's the deal though. David Barlow asking about the Wolves' playoff chances. Not great, not like other years, but they could do it. They still have the team. If you can get the right stuff going. So, all right, people. There is Hot Take Tuesday. Listener GM questions. Again, comment more of them. Always love them. Always love answering and seeing them in the comments. So keep doing that. And then keep up the subscriber count on YouTube. Just hit 5,000 yesterday. Let's keep that going. Love it. And make sure you go follow the Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify too. We'll have more draft content coming out soon, going through kind of the positions of need and more prospect heavy, just seeing who the Vikings can get at each position. Wild and Wolves playoff push. Wild still have a couple days of rest here. Twin season in full-fledged. They're back tomorrow with Joe Ryan. And everyone go enjoy opening day. So
the Joe Ryan experience.
Experiment.
I don't even know.
All right, people. We will see you tomorrow for another episode of Twin City Sports Talk. See ya.